What's up, guys, and welcome back to Two Brothers Comics. We got a live stream tonight. I promise you guys don't want to miss. You're not going to see this anywhere else on YouTube, and I don't care whose channel you go to, so stay tuned.
Ooh. So, Dustin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm so pumped up for this live stream. How about you?
I'm ready for it. This has been something that I'm very interested in. This is near and dear to my heart.
You got your stack of books ready, man?
Stack of books for what?
You got your stack ready?
Oh, oh, you're crazy, man.
That's not happening, guys.
We are going to be showing off some burned comic books, though. That's pretty cool.
Ooh, boy, are we. So, without further ado, then, Nick, should we bring on our guest?
I think so. You want to introduce him?
All right, guys. So I'd like to bring on our guest tonight. This man has a talent that I've never seen before. We're going to bring on Mr. Randy Proctor.
Boom.
Am I here?
We can hear you.
You
Can't see you.
Did you lose me? Did you lose me? Can you hear me?
We got audio, no video.
Lost my video. I'm just trying to play in the dark for a second. Hold on a second. Let me try something. Come on there, Wi-Fi. You can do it.
Well, say hey to people in the chat real quick.
Hello,
Dustin.
everyone. I am literally here. You can't see me. We will fix this. I promise. Let me do something here.
You're fine, man.
I'm gonna say hello to some people in the chat real quick. So we got Tosh Boyden in the house. What's going on, man? Got Man Bat. What's going on, bros? Nick and Dustin, hope you're both doing well. Yes, sir, we are. Hope you are as well. That's the illegitimate third brother, Justin Birch. What's going on, man? Lost in Comics. What's going on? Backseat driver. What's up? What's up? There he is. So here is our guest.
All right. Guys. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. I'm on Florida internet connection, I guess.
So. No problem. No problem.
Welcome.
So here we go right here. Kingdom of Comics. And we're going to talk about these guys later.
All right.
What's up, Randy? Two bros. Nice to meet you guys. Absolutely. Thanks for showing up and watching tonight. We appreciate having you on. So Randy Proctor. So I found Randy Proctor on Facebook. As you guys know, and you may not, just like on Instagram, just like on YouTube, there is. Oh,
that's all right. Keep going.
Just like on YouTube and Instagram, there is a comic book community on Facebook as well. There are tons of Facebook groups, and they're buy and sell groups, showing off your book groups. And I'm a member of a bunch of them. Nick is as well. And I saw this guy posting some artwork.
Yep.
And it blew my mind. I was like, what is this? So I clicked on it and I'm looking at it. So I messaged him immediately, and right off the bat, Randy immediately just sends me pricing because he already knows the deal. He's getting people hitting him up all the time wanting to get this artwork from him. And I was like, yo, no. Like, I love what you're doing, man, but I'm actually reaching out because I got to know what this is. And so we started talking, and I was like, man, we got to bring you on and let you show the people what you're doing here, because this is awesome.
Yep.
So we got Randy on here, kinda. So hopefully his internet connection will work with him a little bit here. See, Smiley Tori has jumped in here. That is the beautiful bride of the captain. If you guys do not know her, Mr. Jason, the Southern Comic Geek. Me and him got to hang out yesterday at Killer Finds. So that was really cool. First time meeting someone from the YouTube comic community. Tosh says, love the office pillow, Nick. And he is showing them off.
So while we're waiting on Randy, no, Austin, not starting without you, man. So while we're waiting on him, so I actually have my entire room in here completely dismantled. I'm doing some things. Hopefully it'll be done here soon, but that's why I kind of have this view for tonight. It's kind of a different one, but pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely. So I got the fire ready, guys. I hope you guys are ready. know there's a lot of good content out there right now that's happening. A lot of people live, and we appreciate those of you who have decided that this is where you want to be tonight. We appreciate that. So we definitely got some cool stuff to show off.
Has anything happened in the comic world?
Yeah, so there's actually been some pretty neat things that I read today. Stuff that we're going to talk about this Saturday in our What's Going On comic book news part of our live stream. We're going to talk about the new Venom movie.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Hugh Jackman. We're going to be talking about Scout Comics' new distribution. And we're going to be talking about, let's see, I wrote it down because there was several things. And we have an updated release on the MCU and DC movies for this year. So we're going to be talking about the updated movie release dates on those. The Loggerhead Art Contest has been extended, guys. So you have till the end of May now to get that Loggerhead artwork in. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but you guys better step your game up because I've thrown my hat into the ring. And I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty slick with a pen. So you guys better bring your A game if you want to compete.
Yeah. So, and with the Loggerhead contest, it did get extended. I wanted to show off one of the pieces of artwork that were done that actually included us. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm gonna pull it up here. And yes, guys, we are going to be showing some burned comic books. So pretty awesome there. There's Dustin, boom, burning comic books. And Dustin Spawn, but we're getting to it. Oh, guys, look, I'm giving away coasters. All you have to do is be the first 2 people to get the number right. I actually wrote it on the back of the coasters. If you want one, go take a guess.
I want one.
Here we go. So this is awesome, guys. Check that out, dude. And it's a homage cover.
That's awesome.
That's absolutely incredible. Really cool. So chat, how's everything going? Let there be carnage. Absolutely. Southern, come on, man. What do you mean clickbait? We don't clickbait anything.
We're not those kind of guys.
All right, let's go. Can you hear us, Randy?
Yes, I can, guys.
All right.
All right. So I do apologize, everybody. I went ahead and put the iPad Pro away, and I'm on a MacBook. So we're gonna hope this works better. So my apologies.
No worries, man. Good
All
deal.
Right. Yeah.
So Randy,
yes.
Dustin found you on Facebook,
right?
And reached out to you. And what was kind of, whenever he reached out to you, what was your thoughts on that? Like just some random dude reaching out to come on his YouTube channel?
Well, at first it was, I've been kind of getting an influx of requests for covers. And so I'm trying to be more personal about answering people instead of just, having like a, automatic response, you know what I mean? Cause I hate that.
Right.
But when you got an influx, I went ahead and copy and pasted a response about pricing.
Yeah.
So I sent him a pricing guide and he's like, oh, hey, actually my buddy or my brother and I, this and that. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm sorry, man. So, but it was nice, just to be reached out to. I just was in one of those busy modes with family life that I was just popping that, that code out. So
there's a lot of craziness going on right now. So that's understood. So, okay. So let's talk before we get into the goodness, right? Kind of what it is you do. Let's talk a little bit about kind of how you got involved in comics and what that story was kind of like for you.
All right. I actually earlier, I'll show some in a second. Hopefully the screen's okay and looking bright, but
oh yeah, it looks good, man.
All right, cool. So let me see, getting into comics. I want to start back. I was about 5 years old when I started to draw. I used to draw my storybooks, like little storybooks you would get. Right. And I would draw characters out of that and show my dad, show my mom, and always try to get people, oh, that was great, And so I really liked that sort of, doing something, showing it off, and then hearing feedback. Yeah. And go forward to about like 10 years old. It was, let's see, I was born in 82. So we're talking like 92, 93. X-Men came out with cards, and I was a huge card collector. Massive. I collected baseball, basketball, hockey, football, and then I started doing Marvel cards. So what I would do is sit in my room and literally be that kid that would just draw for hours and hours and hours while everybody else was playing. That was me, you know, that was my playtime. And so I found a couple today, actually from age 10 from X-Men cards. That would actually, here's Rhino. I don't know if you guys remember. Cool. Yeah, if you remember that card. So what I would do is I would basically, and I wasn't tracing it, but I was learning how to do like texture and replicate right off of the little card that I had. Let's see it. This was my first love, was She-Hulk. I was on here age 10.
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
so and it was those little things, and I've got more. I was finding it and texting some of my buddies earlier today, showing them these pictures. But you know, it's funny because you bounce, you know, forward. I mean, I did, you know, I did military, I've done construction, I've done all these jobs. I'm married, I have 3 kids, you know, and I've just been all over the world. And then all of a sudden, I land back into comics, you know, and comic art. And I was always big on the art, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a huge story guy, which would, you know, I know most people are like, oh my God. I just would always dissect the art, you know, how are they doing the cross hatching on the muscles? How are they doing? I loved it. You know, I would eat it up. So I ended up getting into it, comics recently within the last year, maybe in a month, because I met my buddies, Jason and Paula, and they own Kingdom of Comics. And I started hanging around there and realized, man, this brings me back to my childhood doing these characters, because I love the characters. You know, I have like that nostalgia about them. So I started doing, the first one I did was like a Captain Marvel for them as like a, like an opening gift, you know, to their shop. Yeah. And I just was doing it. I was about midway through it, and I was like, dude, this is the jam right here. I mean, this is awesome, you know, doing wood burning and doing these characters. Yeah. And I started strictly on wood, you know, and then moved into the comics. So it was very organic the way it grew, but it grew very, very quickly. So
and very, very positively.
Oh yeah. You definitely have you definitely got it when it comes to what you do. That's for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, before we get into, which we're about to get into it, guys. I know everybody's sitting on the edge of their seats wanting to know what the heck we're talking about. What is going on here? Do you know of anybody else on the planet that does what you do with these comic books? I've never seen it.
No, I don't know anybody. So
I Googled it. I could not find anything on anybody else that does this. I mean, to be someone that is, especially like, I mean, and if there is someone else, guys, we apologize, but to the 3 of us, to our knowledge, this is the only guy doing this on the planet, what we're about to show you guys. And that right there is a feat in itself, something to be extremely proud of, for sure.
Yeah, it is one of the things that was interesting about kind of taking this, you know, into comics was the fact that an artist is always looking for a medium that they can either do better than someone else or do different, you know, and there's so much good work out there. So this was just the perfect fit for me, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we did have one question. So who are your favorite artists?
Well, I got to go old school, man. I'm real traditional. So when I went to college as an illustrator, and got my bachelor's degree in digital and traditional illustration. And so it's funny because I don't really have names of artists. I just remember seeing paintings and figure drawing of people like he's not a comic artist, but his name is Steve Houston. He was a huge influence on me. And what he does is he does boxers in action, you know, like live oil, like he does oil paintings. But it's these boxers like punching somebody else, and they'll have like a fully rendered face, and then everything else kind of floats away. And you'll see that in my work. I float, you know, I have kind of like where I float things out of the picture and then back in the plane. So Steve Houston was a huge influence on me, and I would just follow him through YouTube and his books. Man, I'm trying to think. There's so many people. I literally get inspired by all the work I see. I mean, you know, Jim Lee is it's overplayed saying Jim Lee, but I grew up with his Wolverine. You know, I grew up with his character. So it's just natural that I embrace that sort of cross-hatching and quick gestural sort of line work. I don't really have like a group of favorite artists, man, because I mean, I'm pulling from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, but I really like the traditional painters and draftsmen, you know, the old school ones. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right. Well,
you ready?
Let's go ahead and talk about everybody sees burning comic books. It's on our thumbnails. We've been talking about Wednesday night. We're going to be talking about burning comic books. So, Randy, explain what burning comic books is.
Okay. So let's show you a picture first. I'm going to take it out of the plastic. Just got this one done. I was telling these gentlemen about 20 minutes before I went on air. So here's the
make you big screen.
Latest piece. I'm going to.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
That looks so good. Let me take off this branding.
Now, obviously, this was based off of Alex Ross's design, you know, like his rendering of the original comic design. And so basically burning, I'm literally burning the page. A lot of people want to see this because they always ask me if I'm damaging the comic. So if you look inside the cover, there's slightly like a ghost image.
Yeah. But
I'm not damaging the actual paper. So, and that's what everybody's, you know, their first thing to ask me is like, oh, how in the world, this and that, you know, you're burning this and that. I am burning, but I'm doing it with very low heat. You can see on the back, it says cover burned by hand. So basically what this is it's not a torch. I'm going to show you guys a few of my tools in a second. But it is like drawing, but you're drawing with a heated tip. And so you have to work super low heat and you have to build your values as if you're doing like a pencil drawing. Okay. I'll show you the Thanos glove because what's cool about this one is you can see my sketching on there because a lot of people wonder if I'm like tracing or it's all freehand. Everything's free-handed. You know, I don't trace anything. I do use reference photos and then my own drawings and then I'll kind of implement my own design. But this will show, this is a better example to kind of show.
Oh my God.
So this is the gauntlet that I've been working on. I'll show you guys. You can see like it's, if I tilt it, you'll see how the page, see that gloss right there?
Oh yeah.
So I am burning the fibers, but I'm like very, very gently brazing the paper. And then you can kind of see my sketch on here. So it starts out with literally just a pencil sketch. And I just, you know, take it a chunk at a time. And
I mean, and the color on that is so perfect. For that, I mean, wow.
Yeah, it worked really well with the metal, which is super surprising to me, to be honest with you, because I was very intimidated by doing like metal with, you know, fire or heat or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, I can imagine you doing like the old school Iron Man right when he went from the all silver to the all gold suit. I mean, I can imagine, you know, that being awesome. And you know, well, I'll wait before I bring that point up that I'm about to. We're going to talk again about the fact that what Randy is doing is not damaging these books. He's got some proof, guys, that he's not damaging these these books, and from some people who are really, really harsh on books being damaged.
Yes.
Well, do you want to show off a couple of these pictures? The ones I have?
Yeah, man. You guys do it up. Yeah, whatever you got.
Randy's work, guys, here that he's done. And I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, Cap right there is what really blew me away. I mean, look how detailed he is there. I mean, I can only imagine how hard some of this would be.
Yep. And we have some other pictures, but we'll save that once we get to that topic. So, so I guess for me, one of the questions I had was, what in your head, because I do a lot of woodworking and stuff, and I've made my attempts at like wood burning, and I'm no artist, so I completely quit. And it was a very quick process.
There's always time to jump back in. I'm gonna have to make it.
No, I can't draw a squared circle if I needed to.
But he's good with the woodwork, though. I mean, with building, his craftsmanship is real good, though.
Yeah. The box back there. I guess what in your head decided, you know what, I'm going to go take this, which can be so damaging to comics, and apply it to a comic book? Was it just how did that happen?
I guess stupidity, to be honest with you. And
but it's brilliant.
You know, well, here's why I say that, because my buddy Jason and Paula, the ones that own the shop, you know, they have blank covers, and they're always encouraging their local artists to step outside their box. You know what I mean? And I'm that kind of guy anyway. I'm always going to be pushing boundaries and doing different stuff. That's just in my nature. But but I've seen pyrography, which is what I do with pyrography, which is fire writing technically. It's been done on paper before, not to the detail that I feel like I've been doing it. I mean, I could be wrong, specifically not in comics. I know that for a fact, or else people aren't posting it. But typically it was done, just kind of brazing the paper to get a quick, like almost like Asian design or more of a crafty, sort of design. And so he gave me a blank, Jason gave me a blank. He gave me the Doctor Strange, and he was like, here, man, see if you could burn on this. You think you could burn on paper? And I'm like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. And it was my first one. And it was still the one that people regard as the standalone, one of their favorite ones to this day. And, it was funny because when I started burning on it, man, it was like very intimidating because I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I had never done a comic blank, even with pencil, ink, nothing. Yeah. And so when I went on that thing, man, I was learning literally trial and error on that cover, and it came out beautifully. And I'm very blessed to say that, but I was nervous the whole damn time, dude. I mean, I was sweating, I'm like, dude, if I burn through this, it's a book, but you put in so many hours that if you, if I'm putting in 15, 20 hours on a piece of paper and I make one wrong move at the end, it's screwed, especially because people are hiring me to get it graded. So I've got to be, very meticulous. So that was, and I say stupidity because I just kind of was going in it blindly, like, yeah, man, we could do that. No problem. I'll try, and it takes that encouragement, and it came from my buddies, and that's really cool. I mean, I'm very grateful for people that push me, around me. So.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it really is. When Dustin sent it to me, because he knows how much I love woodworking and stuff like that, he's like, dude, this is right up your alley. In my response, I don't know, Dustin, if you have it, I was like, oh, he's doing the wood burning on, like the pieces of basically like 1/4-inch ply is what I've seen other people do those, but they're using the laser engraver. They're not actually hand burning. I was like, oh, that's cool. I've seen it before. No big deal. Right. And he came back and he was like, no, dude, this is an actual sketch cover. Yeah. Hand done. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, that's, and again, that goes to the value of your art and how great it really is, because I'm thinking it's a laser engraved, piece of plywood, right?
Yeah, I've gotten that a lot, and I really do take that as a compliment. It actually is humorous to me, but I understand it. I'm not going to be arrogant about it and be like, oh, no, because I get it. It's very detailed, and
very precise.
I take pride in that, if somebody gets something from me and they look at right up to the eyeball, they're going to see the littlest detail with the shading and the iris and the pupil. They're going to see that because I literally zoom in and do those details that you will not see unless you order it or see it live or whatever. But like every scale of Cap's shirt, I can kind of hold it up a little bit, but like
that was what blew me away. Was
scale. Every scale, it's hand done. You know what I mean? It's like hand.
Yeah. And for those of you guys that are just tuning in, this is the burning right here, guys. This is not hand drawn with ink. He is.
You can see like these. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just like these little hatch lines. This is what again I got from like Jim Lee style. So I've got shading, but I've also got the kind of the comic ink style lines. But it's those little details that I think make the difference for a customer.
Absolutely.
And that's why I do it. I do this because people are hiring me to do it, and I really take a lot of pride in what I'm releasing out there. All I have is my name and it's my work. That's it. So,
and I can definitely, me and Nick both can absolutely respect that, because that's really all that you do have at the end of the day. When you're doing stuff like that or doing stuff like we do, we do this channel the same exact way. So, definitely respect, man, on that. And, when me and you started talking and you kind of were explaining to me, like, what you're doing here, the first thing that popped in my head is like, I've got ink all up, I'm like, this is like your tattoo in comics. And it's not something where, just like you said, it's the same thing with a tattoo. You know, once you're in the middle of it, if you screw up a little bit, like it's done. That there's no fixing.
There's nothing I can do. Yeah,
right. You know, same thing with a tattoo. You know, I've had guys screw up a tattoo on me before, and it's like, well, you know, they say oops. I'm like, oops, what are you talking about? Oops, there ain't no oops. Dude. You know, the difference is you can go get another book and start over. You know, my arm is just screwed up now. But
exactly.
But I mean, I've watched these guys tattoo me, and you know the precision that goes into that, and I can only imagine, you know, because they can, you know, dig deeper into your arm and it's whatever, but you have to be so delicate. Precise at how much you're going into this paper and for different shading and stuff. I mean, man, I mean, absolutely 100% respect for what you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And I mean, since you mentioned that, I wanted to kind of tag on to the tattooing thing, because I have tattoos as well, and it was funny because earlier on in my wife and I's relationship, we were kind of talking about dreams and goals, and it's always been for me to, you know, do art full time, do a little gallery, something like that. But another one was to be a tattooer. You know, that was you know, because I like technical work. I'm that kind of artist. I like detail. I like technicality. And so this is like, when I got in doing this, it almost was like the best of both worlds to me, because I didn't have to worry about the stress of a person. But I take a lot from tattooers, man. I mean, I really do. I'm following many of them on Instagram. I'm looking at their line work. I'm looking at the quality of their lines, their shading, and I do that technique here. So that's what I mean, where I kind of take things from everybody. But I am really big on technicality. I mean, if you look at my stuff, I'm definitely not a quick artist. I'm a very technical artist. So
yeah, you definitely seem like the kind of guy that likes to challenge yourself with your work.
Yeah, I do.
So real quick on that Darth Vader cover.
American
man. So it's funny. I got a text from my brother-in-law, who's a huge Star Wars fan. During the show, he goes, "That Darth Vader cover is insane. Getting to do a Kylo Ren one." So I said, "Well, you need
Kylo Ren would be awesome. I'm sure that would be in the works." Yeah, I'm trying to have. I want to do some comic covers for me, but it's like I kind of feel like guilty in a way, because you know, I'm enjoying doing these for people, but it's kind of like, man, I kind of want to keep one. I don't have any, you know. So I might have to do myself a Kylo. I really want to do myself a Wolverine, because I love Wolverine. So yeah.
Have you had a
chance to do Wolverine? Would be great.
Yes, yeah, and I want to just kind of in a pose, you know, just kind of right up in your face, you know. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, there was a couple questions people in the chat had for you. So
yeah, for sure.
Justin Birch, has anyone made a trial by fire joke with you, or are you tired of that?
No, they haven't. You're the first, so congratulations.
He's full of puns and hilarious humor.
I do get that kind of stuff every now and then. I mostly get people that are wondering what the hell I'm doing, and they don't understand it, you know. So, which is cool as well.
Yeah.
So he's the guy that I was telling you works with Mr. Galliano.
Cool.
So he does the lettering for the comics there.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I watched that video, man. So it's nice to meet you over chat. And I am seeing your guys' chat. I apologize. I'm looking.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm looking and seeing them, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys' interview by answering them. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what about this one with Austin?
What do we got?
Does the ash or image smear easily or at all? Is what he's asking.
Oh, I see it here. Okay, gotcha. It's highlighted now. No, actually, what's really cool about this is when I burn it, every now and then I'll get a little flake of like a fiber, you know, of the paper. But I'm doing it really, really, really slow and very low heat. So I'm kind of like, I guess the best way to describe it is I'm kind of sandwiching the fibers down. I'm burning them to where they're kind of pinching down. Okay. So I'm not like flaking the fibers up. I'm not like digging in with the metal, you know, with the tool, and like, does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
There's not a whole lot. Every now and then I'll get a little piece, you know, of like the cover, but it's not like it's the chunk taken off. And that's just kind of nature of the beast, man. The one thing with ash is, there's really no ash. And what's really cool is I got a buddy, Gamma Rays Comics, who is he does all my pressing and moisture bathing for these. Yep. And he's got a whole way. I don't want to get into this process for these, but he had no idea how to do this at first. Like, because they buckle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like the page will do a slight buckle because you're moving the fibers around, so they're reacting. So I approached him, and man, he's a champion because he does all my books for me, and he will get them pressed perfectly, and it actually comes out vibrant. I mean, at first we were a little concerned because we're like, pressing and moisture bathing and all that, but he knows how to flatten my books out. And I'm telling you, man, they come out super clean, and I'm blessed to be around people that know what the heck they're doing, because I know how to burn it. I don't know nothing else, So
yeah, and I didn't even think about that aspect of it, what that heat does to the book, and then have, complications with pressing. That's good to know, because like I said, I never would have even thought about that. But I mean, guys, Randy's thought of everything. He's got it taken care of. So
I got you covered. Everybody, by the way, that anybody that was ever to get any commission from me, small, big, whatever, on a book, I always swing the cost to get them moisture bathed and pressed for you. So before I send them in to any grading company, I do that for you before I send them in to get you the highest grade you can get. So that's a guarantee that I try. I never guarantee grades, obviously.
Yep.
But I will guarantee that I will always get it pressed and moisture bathed so it sits as flat as it can. So
that's awesome, man. So real quick, we always shout out moms on this show.
Oh yeah,
Carol Proctor, proud.
That's
mom.
my mama. Hey, mama.
And then we had another question. So Manbat asked if you do commissions.
Absolutely.
And we can talk about that now, or probably in a little bit if you want to, kind of at the end.
Yeah.
But you absolutely do take commissions. Are you pretty backed up, or how are things looking now?
Right now I'm about 5 weeks out, so it's not too bad. So if you were to order something tonight or tomorrow, I can have it to you in I can have it shipped off to CGC within 5 weeks.
Cool.
So
awesome. Yeah. So that brings up the point I was wanting to talk about earlier. And Nick, if you can get ready to drop this picture here. So when we were talking about earlier, guys, with whether or not Randy is actually damaging the comic books, we've got proof right here that obviously he's not damaging them too bad, because these things are getting 9.8 yellow labels from CGC, and he's got I think you've said you've sent some to CBCS too as well, right?
I haven't yet. I actually just got on board with them a week and a half ago. So,
but we know CGC is CGC is obviously the top graders, and they're the ones that we know. Those guys like to be finicky about some things, and then some things they let them fly. But I mean, he's pulling 9.8s on his artwork here, guys. So, you don't have to really, I don't think there's any worries on whether or not these books are being damaged. Obviously, the guy that he's having press these books does a phenomenal job.
Phenomenal.
He does.
So, it's just really, really awesome. And they look so great with that yellow label. And you send those in, right? Like, I mean,
yeah. So how it goes is I have I buy blanks from my local shop, whatever ones they can get that I feel like I could sell, because there's certain characters I'm really not interested in purchasing to do. I kind of like the more in your face sort of. I like villains, to be honest with you. Like the Spawns and the Venoms. Yeah, I mean, I love the texture and all that. It drives me to do it. But I pretty much would do anything. I'm sorry, going back to your question. Yeah, what I do is I do send them in, because when I send them into CGC, I get them pressed by Gamma Rays. His name's Chris. You can follow him on Instagram too. It's at Gamma Rays. He's a great guy. He does cleaning as well. But he presses my books. I get him back from him. He's local. I pick him up. I hand pick him up from him. We pack them up. We ship them to CGC. We get it graded for you. I usually get most of my stuff graded express 5-day. It's a little pricey, but people that have been commissioning me are wanting it back. I haven't had anybody do economy. Everybody's been doing 5-day grading. Yeah. And CGC, I've got a good relationship with them. I have spoken to the managers there and the VPs there. And so they know when my book is coming. I give them heads up. So once I pay that fee and we get it back in 5 days, or they grade in 5 days, come back. I'm in Florida. They're in Tallahassee. So we get it quick. We get it within a day, shipped back to Kingdom of Comics. And then after that, I get it professionally photographed by my buddy Keith. I started doing some stuff trying to get these professionally photographed for document purposes, and also just to have those for my arsenal. Yep. And then I ship it out to you same day. So you're not waiting long. I mean, the hardest part is me doing the artwork. And one of the things I do want to say is that I do send, and you can, any of my customers that have been or that are tuning in or whatever that have received them, I always send updates. So I'm always sending you updates on the progress. So it keeps you in the loop. And I'm a big guy on deadline. So if I tell you 5 weeks, it'll be done 4 weeks in a day, probably. So I will always try to hit, to the best of my ability to get it to you as quick as possible, but also done as well as I can. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's incredible stuff. Now, before we move on, because I know there's some other things we wanted to do, Justin asked, have you set up at any conventions? I could see people lining up at your table to watch your work.
Yeah, so I've done one convention, which was MegaCon 2 years ago, and that was when I was doing strictly dragon stuff on wood.
Yeah,
and I had really good feedback. I have a table at MegaCon this year. So if anybody's going to be at MegaCon, I don't know my number yet because it got pushed from April to June. And hopefully it's still going to go on because I've got a lot of work to bring. Not so many covers, but I got photos of covers, and I am going to be working on a cover there. Exciting, and I don't know if it's going to happen. A guy, I believe he's from Dallas, and this is you guys the only ones that know this. Well, everybody on here. He bought a signed Stan Lee blank, and he commissioned me to burn a portrait of him and Stan Lee on the signed blank.
Wow.
So we go through CGC to figure out logistics of having my name and Stan Lee and recognized. So what has to happen is if he's able to come to MegaCon this year, I'm going to burn it live at MegaCon over the 4 days because CGC has to see me start it and complete it, and I have to take it to their booth in order for Stan and myself to be on the same label. So that blew me away, the fact that this guy would hire me to touch that book, even to touch that book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lightly, but that's really cool news. So hopefully we're going to meet up. If not, we're definitely going to be doing it. We just don't know if we're going to be doing it at MegaCon, but I will be burning live at MegaCon, but also dealing with customers. So yeah, I will have an artist alley table there this year.
Awesome.
So,
that's incredible, man.
That just sounds cool. I'll be burning at MegaCon, burning live.
Yeah.
Burning
torching it up. Yeah.
Nobody else gets to say that. That's awesome.
Well, real quick, so before we move on to the next topic and points of conversation, if you're new here and you're watching, I encourage everybody to subscribe to the channel and like the video. It does help out a lot more than you realize. So if you'll do that for us, guys, we do appreciate it. And all it takes is a little click. All right. So what do you want to talk about now, Dustin? Randy, do you want to talk about some of the tools or?
Yeah, let's see.
Awesome.
See some of the stuff you used to do this beautiful.
So the units that I use, I started out with, and I'll go ahead and pop brands out here because I've actually talked to 2 of the brands that I use, and they're really cool with, me mentioning their name or whatever. I started out Walnut Hollow, which is a craft tool, actually.
Okay, yep.
And it's called a Versa tool. I started out with a 1 temp, which means you push that button, took like 3 minutes to heat up. Yeah. But it was a beastly machine. And what it would do is it would just burn hot. I'm talking you could get no gradients, no blending, nothing. This is when I was strictly working wood, which I do as well. I'll show some later. So then my wife ended up investing with me because I was like a little kid wanting this machine. I wanted a Canadian company called Razor Tip. Yep. RAZERTIP. And I have what's called a Razor Tip SK. And that was my first workhorse machine that I bought. That was pretty professional, but not quite to the other one I bought that I'm going to mention next. And that one I was able to get different heat settings, and I was able to practice with different tips and different pens. I'm going to show you some of the pens. This is, let's see. So what Razor Tip does is I'll show you a shader and a liner. Hopefully you guys can see this. So this is basically what I'm working with. It's very lightweight. So you have your power. Yep. You have your grip. Some of them do foam grips, some do cork grips, and then you've got what's called, let's see if you can see this. Can you guys see that?
Oh yeah, it looks good.
Okay, let me turn it right there. There we go. So it's a spoon shader is basically what it is. Okay. So they flatten out the metal, and then they kind of, so as I'm, burning or whatever, I can do circles like tattooing, and I can get, little wispy lines like that. So this is one of my workhorse shaders. I love this. I pretty much use about 2 tools total when I'm doing a cover. my other one from Razor Tip, this is even smaller. This thing is super lightweight and very comfortable. And, you know, you can get right up on this like a pen.
Yep.
And this is got a writing, let's see right there, a writing nib.
Mm-hmm.
And that I use for mostly all of my line work and any sort of other textures I'm doing. And that's basically it. So I'm able to plug these in. I can disconnect and get my next tool ready. And then I just, it's like drawing, but you have to obviously be a lot more careful. And there's different heat settings, which I won't go into. So that was the Razor Tip. That's a Canadian company. And I was like, you know, they're great. Their customer service is awesome. And if I would, you know, contact them, they contact me right back. But I also wanted an American made machine. Yep. So my next workhorse was a beast, and I had my family invest in me. They've been very supportive. My brother, a lot of friends, my parents, my wife, and they bought me what's called the Coalwood Olympiad, and that brings you like a beastly. I wouldn't use it on comics, you know, because this thing is like, it's meant to burn like plywood. It's like it's a huge handled thing. And they also came out with different tips. Let me see here. So this is the difference. This is a Coalwood machine. So you can see it's a cork and it has a different port. So it has a male end, whereas the other one had a female end. And they came out with different, you know, almost like sliced razor tips and stuff that you can do. You have to be very, very careful using these on paper.
Oh yeah.
It's literally like a knife. And then this one, you know, if you're like, you know, pulling straight lines or whatever. But what's really beautiful about this machine is it's got the heat setting is dead on. I mean, if you put it at whatever setting between a 1 and a 10, and you want, you know, let's say you want a 6.8 setting because you like 6.8 on a certain wood or whatever, and that's all practice, you can literally get the 6.8 perfectly. The heat setting doesn't fluctuate, and that's what you want, man, because it's like with an ink pen, you know how it's reacting. With a pencil, you know the lead. With heat, it's got to output that heat exactly how I want it, or else I'm going to screw it up.
Yeah, consistency
on professional tools. Yeah. So Razor Tip, Coalwood, and anybody, you know, I'm anybody who wants to start wood burning, you know, on wood. I mean, I highly suggest doing it. It's a fun thing. Buy a walnut hollow tool. It's $20. You can get them at Joann Fabrics.
Yep.
And just start doing, you know, sand a piece of wood down and start practicing like if you're drawing, you know. And I mean, I'm definitely not one of the people that's intimidated by having more people do it. It's very challenging, but you know, but have fun, you know, enjoy it. I mean, art to me should be enjoyed. So
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's impressive. The tools that you're using there. And I would have, if you would have showed me those, I would have never, I mean, I had no idea like even what wood burning entailed, but you know, if you just showed me those and told me that's what you were using on those comics, I mean, I would have never believed you, because it just blows my mind that those are the tools that make this stuff happen. I mean, it's awesome. It is truly, definitely impressive.
And that Spawn cover right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that cap, don't get me wrong, your Avengers cover is incredible, but I bet you that, right? I mean, what took you longer, the Avengers or that Spawn? Because this Spawn right here, the more I look at it, the more I'm just amazed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say the Avengers took me longer because of placement. I wouldn't say it's so much there is a lot of texture in it, but because of the placement of the characters, it took me longer. It definitely, the guy that hired me to do that, he super challenged me, but I'm appreciative of it. So, but that Spawn, you know, it's different because the other thing I wanted to mention is like on a comic, you know, it's not like a blank piece of paper. So like, to be honest with you guys, man, I hate the sketch stage and the planning stage. I want to get straight into detail, you know, but I got to plan it out, you know, because it's like, once I plan it out, if I go on there again and I mess it up or whatever, I got to wait for another book or whatever. But just as an example, for the font, you know, like you have the Avengers font, that tells me kind of like how I want to work around the font. So if you're able to pop that Spawn up real quick, if you don't mind, I wanted to show the difference. So if you guys look at that Spawn, I was able to wrap around with kind of like Oriental style, you know, flame waves, so to speak. And every single title makes me do a different sort of background or style. And that's what I love about getting the blanks with the lettering, because I try to use, I hate cutting through any lettering. I always wrap around it. You know what I'm saying? That was a blast. That was a great piece, and CGC loved that piece, and I was very blessed that they posted it. So.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And that, go back to that, the Doctor Strange. So is this the Doctor Strange you said was your first piece?
That was my first. Yeah, that was my first cover.
That was the first time you put your tools on paper.
Yep, ever.
And you didn't keep that, man?
No, my buddy was trying to get me to keep it, but I had a guy that really wanted the first edition, and he paid me good money, so I released it into the world.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. I got to tell Dustin, there's nothing in the world that's not for sale.
Yeah, and it went to a true collector.
Good.
He definitely is a real collector, and that was the only comic actually that I was not able to, because I wasn't sure how this was going to grade. When I first sent that in, I had no clue. My buddy, like I said, we didn't know. Like, I sent that thing in, I had no idea if they were going to be able to grade it or not. I had to contact people at CGC. I was on the phone with them. And then when they said they could grade it, I was expecting a low grade. And when I got that at a 9.8, dude, I was like flabbergasted, bro. I was just completely shocked. And I was like, okay, this is doable. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's a go.
But I number each of my ones on the back. That was the only one that didn't have a number. And so what I did was I made the guy a certificate of authenticity with my logo on, and I shipped it to him just so that he could, because CGC wouldn't recognize that as number one because I didn't label it as number one. So as collectors out there, and this goes to my buddy from EGS Comics, and he does custom labels and stuff like that. And he's a good guy. He's another local guy. But he encouraged me. We were sitting at the bar at Kingdom of Comics. They have a bar there and beers and all kinds of stuff. So we're sitting there just kind of hanging out. And he was like, man, it would really get you a leg up on the competition is numbering all of your work, like number it right on the comic so that the label matches the number. So just so you guys know, I do that now. So everything from number 2, and I just got done with number 11, is numbered. And so, later on down the line, if you're wondering what number it is, it's always going to be on the back, and it's always going to match the label. If it's from EGS, if it's from CBCS, if it's from CGC, it will have the number on there, burned by hand, legal burning, number 12, number 13, and it'll match the back. So that, that's something I wasn't seeing people do, and I'm glad you recommended it. And so I'm taking that step forward to do that on every piece.
Awesome. I guess that would leave my question be, how much extra would I have to pay for you to do one for me and number it number 1, since we don't have one on number 1 on CGC?
Yeah, that's a good question. I couldn't do that to the collector though, because he'd be like, "Oh man, come on." Yeah. So
that's awesome though. I mean, to know that everything is labeled, with the numbered edition of your work. I mean, that's awesome for you. That's awesome for the person that's getting the artwork too. I mean, it's really, really cool.
Yep, absolutely, man. So let's talk about kind of how people can go about getting a hold of you, to possibly get one of these done, reach out to you, things like that. So I do have some branding here. I'm going to pull back up again, but if you want to, man, plug kind of how people can contact you, get a hold of you. If you want to talk about any of your pricing, or if that needs to be private, that's fine too. But go ahead, floor's yours.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put the pricing out there. It's going to fluctuate, guys, depending on, everything's custom. These are pretty much set pricing. But if I was to do the Avengers again, and I would honor I would probably have charged more after like 4 characters just because it took so much longer. But again, you learn as you go, and I have no problem spending extra hours, for anybody. So if you guys want to reach me, the best way to do it is legalburning@gmail.com. All my stuff is under Legal Burning. If you type in or hashtag Legal Burning on Facebook or Instagram, you'll find me. You'll find my page. Facebook page is Legal Burning, @Legal Burning on Instagram. I also have a website, www.legalburning.com. And so you can go right through that. I do pet portraits. I do all kinds of stuff. So it's not just limited to comics. And I'm always revamping the website and adding new stuff. I've got some for sale stuff on there. But it's got a comic section, and it will link you. If you click on comic covers, it'll link you directly. If you go down, it'll say contact or get a price. All you have to do is click that, and it'll link you to my email address.
Perfect.
It also has Kingdom of Comics link on there as well if you guys want to check out them. So that's where I get most of my blanks from. unless it's a customer that sends me the blank.
Now I see up at the top right hand or left hand corner there, Nick. I know Captain Comics is in here. Smiley Tory is in here. Is that a Harley and Poison Ivy there?
Yep.
Yeah. So that one, and that one just sold. That was actually graded by EGS. It came back at a 9.8. Right. And that was actually 2 cosplayers that I got their permission to use, Kristen Lenny, and I'm going to forget the other one. I'm so sorry. I got their permission to use their references on that one, and that was a lot of fun. So
that's cool. That's awesome.
And then there's that Spawn one more time. No, that's a different Spawn.
Yeah, this is a different Spawn. So this one was a full body Spawn. I had a lot of fun on this one. It might be hard to zoom in on it.
Yeah, it's not one.
If you guys go to my website, it has a nice picture of it there if you want to see it. I also have it on my Instagram and Facebook. That was a really neat one. He's standing in a graveyard and there's tombstones and stuff behind him. And he's standing in like a pile of skulls. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. And there's a little bit of green on there. I do add color very, very frequent, or not so frequently, but I will add color with alcohol-based markers and colored pencil typically, because that won't smear when it gets like, pressed and moisture bathed and stuff.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
I try to steer away from too much color just to kind of keep it consistent.
Oh yeah, keep it organic to what you're doing. Yeah. I mean, I don't think if I was going to get one, I would just say no color, man. Just do your thing, and I would definitely want something that has some metal on it, because that Thanos gauntlet is going to be incredible when it's finished. I mean,
thank you. Yeah, that'll be done. If you guys, kind of want to check back, I post weekly, like progress, and that one will be done. Let's see, I think in 2 weeks I gave myself the deadline for that one, so it'll be done shortly. And I'm going to be doing colored gemstones. So
awesome. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, so it'll contrast nice. And I did notice somebody, I think it was Austin, that commissions flat rate or hourly. It's flat rate, man. So if I spend 40 hours on your cover, which literally does happen on some covers, and you pay me flat rate, I won't be. When I set a price, bro, I'm not gonna like mess around with you. I understand money's precious, and I really take that into consideration. So if I give you a price, that's exactly what it is, even if I do something else. Perfect example, and I won't get into what the guy paid for it. The gauntlet. I ended up charging him a bust price because I was going to do the gauntlet small. When I started doing it, I realized it'd be better bigger, and I also realized it'd be better with Thanos' face on the right side of it, kind of blended out in the background. So I'm literally going to be doing a full cover for him with a bust price. And that's just, to me, that's customer service. I'm going to put my all into it. If I feel like it needs to be more, I'm going to spend the extra 3 or 4 hours on it, So yeah, no worries with that.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, Dustin, Randy, anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything you want to bring up, Randy, that maybe we've missed? Because this is about you right now, so we want to make sure we give you the opportunity.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I was going to show off just a few little pieces if you don't mind. So this is some of my wood designs. Hopefully they show okay because they're highly urethaned. And these are all for sale. These will be at MegaCon as well.
Oh wow!
There you go, Nick.
So, yeah, this one. So this is done on basswood.
Yep.
And so you can kind of see from the side, it's got, it's a high gloss urethane. It's got natural bark on it. And this was my wheelhouse, guys. This is how I started. So I have a passion for doing wood designs. And to be honest with you guys, this stuff, they're all signed on the back. They're not numbered, but I do have burned by hand and the date that I did them or the year. Mm-hmm. All of this stuff, you can commission me for different sizes. So the nice thing about basswood is it's actually like natural, and it's already kiln dried, so you can hang it right on your wall. Yep. There's no moisture in it. This is another Star Wars piece. This was kind of it playing outside my box a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So this was kind of my own tribal style background with a trooper helmet. And then what I did is I did a 3D piece that I have like a method of making it pop out 3D, and I burned the frame. All the frames are hand built, and I kind of did a splatter effect with paint on this one. So it's got a hanger on the back, and it's signed by me in the corner.
That's awesome.
So this is the stuff you guys will see. It's not just comics. I do a lot of wood, and now these are all my own freehand dragon eyes that I do. Try to find that.
What's going on, Jim Mint?
So what's cool about this one right here or these little pieces is I love medieval and fantasy work. and I'm big on eyeballs. So I thought, what would it be cool if you zoomed into a dragon's eye and you took a snapshot image, just kind of looking, seeing the scales and stuff. I have a whole series of these. I have like 7 or 8 of them that'll be at MegaCon. And so here's another example. And everyone's got like a different personality. So, awesome. But those are also floating, kind of little floating pieces in there. And they've got hangers on the back. So, I just kind of go out in my shop and see what I want to make. And so, anything you guys want, man, I do commission work for anything. I can do family portraits. I can do pets, anything. So just hit me up, man.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to
show off that gauntlet one more time.
Yeah. The gauntlet. Yep. Let me take it out of the.
So for anybody that's just tuning in, we are talking about burning comics. And Randy is an artist that burns these images onto these comics. And it is just fantastic work. That is not with a pen, marker, pencil, none of that. He is doing this with tools that he uses to burn the images in there.
And it's all by hand, not like a 3D.
Right. So you'll see my sketch. So there's my kind of sketch. And then I'm just literally burning right over top of that. So it's a really, light sketch.
Awesome.
But yeah. So this one's going to be done in a couple weeks, and I'm looking forward to doing the jewels on that one. It's going to be cool.
Oh yeah.
Or the Infinity Stones.
Absolutely. And that Avengers one, you said the Avengers one is done, right?
Yeah, it is done. I just got it done today, and I just sent the guy the final images. So that's going to get pressed Friday, and then I'm going to ship it out to CGC on Monday. So.
Oh yeah, it works really great for the gauntlet.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Actually, Jim, man, I've been following his channel too, so that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Show him that Avengers one. I don't think he got this.
Okay.
That Avengers.
Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna take it out. So
I know he'll
want to get the plastic glare on there.
Some Captain America on there too.
So this is obviously off of the Alex Ross, and there were a few characters I left out because I didn't want to cram it too much.
Look at the thing. Wow.
Cyclops. Oh, dude, I didn't realize the thing was there.
Yeah, look at Cyclops, man.
I'm trying to. There we go.
I've been looking at the Hulk the whole time when he pulls this up, and that Wolverine looks amazing.
Yeah, so it's and then if you kind of look at it from the side, you'll kind of see there is a little bit of a gloss on these. It's hard to see, but it's a little bit of a sheen because again, I'm kind of like pressing the paper down when I'm heating it. But This is the fun one, and again, just so if you guys are just tuning in, I label each one of them on the back. So this is number 10.
Yep.
So it was a fun cover, man. Very challenging, but I had a blast.
That's incredible, dude. That is absolutely insane.
He does have these pressed guys, and he will send them to CGC, get you a yellow label, and they are coming back in the 9s. He's got 9.8s out there. So these books.
My lowest grade as of right now, knock on wood, is a 9.6. I've had all 9.8s and 1 9.6. I had a little bit of a bevel, which was the comic itself. I didn't do anything to it. And I was still happy with that. So, and the customer was too. And, but yeah, man, I mean, I try my best to get you guys the highest grade you can. I'm very delicate with the comics. I don't leave them out. They're always put away. When I work on them, it's clean hands, and it's like surgery, to be honest with you. No joke. Yeah, seriously. So.
Absolutely, guys. Well, check him out, legalburning.com or at Legal Burning on Facebook and Instagram. Are you on Twitter at all?
I am not. Nope.
It's okay. We're new to
that's one I'm not too familiar with, but yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I'm real active with Facebook and Instagram. So
okay, and then the best way to get a hold of you is legalburning@gmail.com.
Gmail.com. You can also message me, Facebook message me, or DM me through Instagram. I'll get back with you guys like latest within an hour. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely approach me, man. If you have any questions, I'll feel free to talk to you guys about anything. So.
Make sure you guys go as soon as this stream's over. Don't leave now. As soon as this stream's over, make sure you guys go follow him on Facebook and on Instagram, so you guys can not only keep up with what he's doing and see progress on some of the things he's doing, keep up with where he's going to be at cons. And, the more you see it, maybe you'll decide you want to get one done too. You'll have a way to reach out to him on either one of those platforms as well, because I know the more I've been seeing it, like I'm sitting here literally trying to work out in my head what I do to make this happen. Because I mean, I'm definitely all in on wanting to get one of these done myself. I mean, they're fantastic.
Yep. Well, so real quick, that last question, he asked about, so burning it probably adds a bit of depth. Is that true, or is it kind of create like a texture?
It does create a slight texture. And so if you were to take the cover and you were to actually open it and look at the back of the white paper, it has a little bit of like a bevel almost, you know, where you can kind of see some of the, especially the darker burns like the Vader, when I'm having to work those fibers, like try to get them as dark as I can. That had a little bit of a bevel. But I have a certain method where I'm not damaging the book. So I don't want to get into what I do, but I'm not going to damage the book at all. I mean, the cover of the actual comic book itself is pristine, clean, perfect. And really you can, you know, it's kind of like a little bit of a ghostly image if you were to kind of look at the back of the white page. So yeah, and I'm not going too deep in the paper. I'm going just one little tiny layer. I'm not going like halfway where the paper's going to disintegrate or nothing like that. So
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to talk about, cover anything at all?
I just want to give God the glory while I'm on here, because when I started this, to be honest with you guys, when I got my first tool, I said that if this took off, that he would be the one I give the glory to, because I know that this is a gift. So I just am very thankful. I'm very thankful to have the gift. I'm thankful to use it in a way that brings people pleasure. But yeah, other than that, man, I'm just thankful for you guys and for reaching out to me. And I'm a very approachable person, guys. So just, you know, talk to me. If you got any questions, feel free to ask me, man. No problem.
Absolutely, man. Well, we appreciate you being on here. So everybody in the chat, again, go check out his Instagram, his Facebook, show him some love, let him know Two Brothers Comics sent you over. And, you know, if you're new, again, you know, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It helps out quite a bit. Dustin, anything else you want to add?
Nope. Again, man, thanks for coming on.
You're very welcome.
It was super fun. Glad to see all this work and to know that you're you know, doing this, but you're so together, and you know, you're making sure that you got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed with everything from the pressing to the grading to the shipping, the deadlines. You know, I know Nick Nick probably appreciates that even more than I do, because he is that guy for us. I am the part of you that just wants to say, screw all the prep work, dude. Let's just jump right in it and get into the good stuff. And Nick is the side that has to reel me in and you know, no, we have to do it in procedures. So you know, that's awesome, you know, that you have that whole thing together. So absolutely cool, man. But
thank you.
Thanks again for coming on. And
absolutely, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for everybody for watching too. And if I didn't get to your comments or whatever, please, you know, email me or DM me or whatever on Instagram, or message me on Facebook, and I'll answer your questions.
Fantastic. Well, so it's become kind of this ritual where the guest of the channel gets to do the finger guns and the collect your way. So I don't know if you've seen any of the videos.
I have not seen that part, so you're gonna have to give me a little info. I have seen some videos, but I don't know if I saw that part.
It's okay. So at the end of all of our videos, we end with a collect your way. It's kind of our cheesy little thing, but it actually means quite a bit. It's kind of like a judgment-free collection style that we kind of push, you know, whether it's burn comics or modern or whatever, collect the way you choose to. And that's kind of become our mantra. So at the end, just going to say, collect your way, Dustin, and does the finger guns.
You just throw the finger guns and say, collect your way when Nick gives the cue, and then we're out of here, man.
All right. I'm ready. I'm getting my guns ready.
Home stretch. All right, guys. So thank you so much for being here. Like and subscribe. And as always,
collect your way.
Collect your way.